a quiet grove where the wind moves gently through the trees and the mind becomes still. There was once a teaching, spoken not in force, but in silence. It was about a humble grain salt, something so ordinary that many overlook it. Yet within it lies a reflection of how life itself responds to intention, awareness, and discipline. It is said that wealth does not only arrive from effort alone, nor does it stay because of luck alone. It flows where the mind is clear, where actions are aligned, and where energy is not scattered by fear. And so, a simple ritual with salt was shared not as superstition, but as a reminder of inner order. Each morning, before the world becomes loud, take a small pinch of salt in your hand. Feel its texture. Observe its simplicity. In that moment, you are asked to remember something important. Even the smallest things carry meaning when the mind is present. Whisper inwardly your intention, not of greed, not of desperation, but of balance, stability, and right action in your financial life. Then gently dissolve the salt in clean water. As it disappears, observe how nothing is truly lost. It only changes form. In the same way, money is energy. It flows, transforms, and returns in different shapes. When the mind understands this, fear begins to loosen its grip. Drink, or respectfully release the water into the earth, symbolizing trust in the natural flow of giving and receiving. In this act, you are not asking the universe for sudden fortune, but training your own awareness to stop resisting abundance. Many suffer not because wealth is absent, but because their mind is clouded with doubt, impatience, and comparison. They chase without clarity. They earn without direction. They receive, yet cannot hold. The salt ritual is a pause, a moment where you step out of confusion and return to simplicity. As days pass, something subtle begins to shift. You may notice fewer impulsive decisions. You may feel a quiet patience growing within you. You may begin to see opportunities that were always there but hidden beneath distraction. This is not magic in the outer world. It is refinement in the inner world, for just as salt preserves and purifies, awareness preserves discipline and purifies intention. When intention is pure, even small actions carry great impact. When discipline is steady, even modest income becomes stable wealth. And when the mind is calm, financial fear loses its authority. It is also taught that wealth does not favor those who only desire it, but those who respect it. Respect means understanding where money is lost through carelessness, where it is blocked by habit, and where it is strengthened through mindful living. The ritual becomes a mirror. You begin to see your patterns more clearly. There is no promise of sudden riches in this practice, but there is something deeper, the transformation of your relationship with money itself. And when that relationship changes, circumstances slowly begin to follow, like water finding its way through stone over time. Steady awareness reshapes destiny more than sudden effort ever can. A single grain of salt teaches this truth. It is small, yet it changes the flavor of everything it touches. So each morning, when you hold that pinch of salt, remember, you are not performing a superstition, but returning to awareness. You are not forcing fortune, but aligning with clarity. You are not chasing wealth, but removing confusion. And in that simplicity, something remarkable happens. Life becomes less like a struggle and more like a flow. Decisions become lighter, effort becomes cleaner, and financial life, once tangled in worry, begins to move with a quiet sense of order. Money reflects inner state, not just external effort. Financial outcomes are shaped by clarity of mind, discipline, and emotional balance, not only by hard work or luck. Money in a person's life is often believed to be controlled only by external circumstances. But deeper observation shows that the inner state of mind plays a far greater role than most realize. When the mind is restless, filled with fear, impatience, and confusion, even opportunities that appear clearly in front of a person are often missed or misused. A simple practice, symbolized through salt, becomes a way to return the mind to stillness before engaging with financial decisions. In this moment of quiet awareness, a person is not trying to force wealth to appear, but instead is learning to remove inner noise that blocks clear thinking. Salt, in its pure form, represents simplicity and grounding. When it is held and observed with full attention, as it dissolves in water, it reflects the natural truth that nothing in life remains fixed forever. Including money, it moves, changes, and transforms, depending on how it is handled. In this understanding, fear begins to weaken because one realizes that loss is not permanent, nor is gain guaranteed to stay without care. Through this awareness, a person slowly develops patience, clarity, and a more balanced relationship with financial life. The salt ritual is a symbol of awareness, not superstition. Using salt in a simple daily act represents mindfulness, intention setting, and returning the mind to simplicity before making financial decisions. Money is often treated as something solid and permanent, yet in reality, it behaves more like flowing energy that responds to how it is directed. When the mind is clouded with anxiety or uncontrolled desire, this flow becomes scattered, and even strong efforts fail to bring lasting stability. The salt ritual, in this sense, becomes a quiet reminder of impermanence and flow. As salt dissolves into water, it shows that nothing truly disappears. It only changes its form and state. In the same way, financial gains and losses are part of a continuous cycle, not final destinations. When a person begins to understand this, attachment to fear and overthinking slowly reduces. This creates space for clearer decisions, where spending, saving, and earning are guided by awareness rather than impulse. The act of focusing on salt each morning is not about magic, but about training attention. Attention shapes behavior, and behavior shapes financial outcomes over time. A distracted mind often repeats mistakes, while a mindful mind notices patterns and corrects them early. In this way, discipline grows naturally without pressure. Gradually, the individual starts to feel less controlled by sudden emotions and more aligned with steady thinking. This inner shift becomes the real foundation of financial balance and long-term stability in life. Wealth flows like energy and is always changing form. Just as salt dissolves in water, money is seen as something that moves, transforms, and returns when not blocked by fear or confusion. Many people believe financial stability depends only on how much they earn. But in truth, it also depends on how wisely they manage what already flows through their hands. When awareness is missing, even a large income can disappear quickly through careless choices, emotional spending, and lack of direction. The SALT practice serves as a simple reflection of this truth. When SALT is held for a moment of still attention, it encourages a pause before action, reminding the mind not to rush into decisions driven by excitement or fear. As it dissolves in water, it shows how easily things can change form, teaching that money too can vanish or grow, depending on one's mindset and discipline. This understanding gradually reduces impulsive behavior, which is one of the main causes of financial struggle. Instead of reacting emotionally, a person begins to observe their habits more carefully. They start noticing where money is wasted, where it is truly needed, and where it can be saved or invested wisely. Over time, this awareness becomes stronger than desire itself. It creates a natural sense of order in daily financial life. In this way, the practice is not about superstition, but about building a disciplined mind that supports steady growth and long-term stability in all material matters. Financial struggles often come from mindset habits, impulsiveness, doubt, comparison, and lack of direction are presented as key reasons people lose or fail to sustain wealth. True change comes from transforming your relationship with money. The ritual's deeper purpose is to build patience, discipline, and awareness so financial decisions become clearer and more stable over time. The deepest change in financial life does not begin with income, but with understanding the relationship a person has with money itself. When money is seen only as something to chase, fear and dissatisfaction grow endlessly, because the mind is never fully at rest. But when money is understood as a flow that responds to awareness, effort becomes more balanced and less stressful. The SALT practice gently supports this shift in perception. In the simple act of holding and dissolving salt, a person is reminded that all forms are temporary and always in transition. This realization slowly weakens the grip of anxiety that comes from loss and the obsession that comes from gain. Instead of reacting to financial situations emotionally, the mind learns to respond with clarity. Over time, this clarity builds discipline, and discipline naturally leads to better choices in earning, spending, and saving. The person becomes more attentive to small habits, which often decide long-term financial outcomes more than big events. Even without dramatic changes, life begins to feel more stable because decisions are no longer driven by confusion. In this way, the real transformation is internal. It is not about attracting sudden wealth, but about developing a steady mind that can handle wealth wisely when it comes and maintain balance when it does not.